Hey, this is the Recklessly Skeptical podcast. Today is April 23rd, 2017. You can find this podcast on Spreaker, Stitcher, YouTube, and not yet iTunes, right, Matt?
I have no idea. No, not on iTunes.
That's fine.
This is Matt.
And my name is Josh.
And like Joe said, today's April 23rd, which is kind of relevant because it's Joe's birthday, so happy birthday.
Yep, thank you.
Happy birthday
Ooh.
to you.
Oh,
Josh is stripping.
No.
Put your clothes back on.
Yeah, it's my birthday. I'm 34 years old today.
Oh, speaking of which, I got you. It's not much, but at least it's. I looked at the apricot beer
Awesome.
as a joke from last week because you
Oh,
were bitching
yeah,
about
okay.
the fruity beer.
Thanks.
But got you pale ale.
I love pale ale.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you, sir. Yeah, so I got beer from Matt. I got an 18 pack of
PBR, man.
of PBR and a tackle box.
And just so you guys know, PBR is Matt and Joe's go-to. Like, I swear to God, I've seen
No.
them drink more PBR than fucking.
That's my favorite cheap beer.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
you know?
like what you fall back on.
Yes, but my favorite style of beer is IPAs. I love IPAs.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I had an IPA last night, I think, or the night before. You got something on your lip.
Is it white?
It was white.
It was white and creamy.
Yeah. Oh,
I have a frozen mocha.
I love frozen mochas. Did you get extra chocolate?
No, I just said chocolate.
And they made it fancy like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one by my house, I tell them I want a frozen mocha, and they won't make it like that.
I
I
have
got to
to-
say extra chocolate, and then they'll put the syrup on it.
Well, I said whipped cream and syrup, chocolate syrup.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you specify the syrup parts.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
This is great podcast talk. All right, let's move on. So we're gonna go with the stolen thought, guys. And this was a post I saw on Facebook yesterday, and it's about the Science March here in Salt Lake City, and it's kind of pathetic. So this was written by Gregory A. Clark. He's a professor here in Utah. Isn't he a professor at the U of U? I believe he is.
He could be.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's a professor there. So here we go. Quote, "Unfortunately, the Salt Lake City March for Science turned into an embarrassment. A personal testimony from one BYU professor regarding the power of intercessory prayer to get God to intervene and save his wife from dying from cancer," the crowd cheers. "Because fuck you, all you dead cancer victims. God could have saved you too, but overall didn't want to. Granted, the way God intervened is by providing good docs, but the important issue isn't how a magical being intervened, it's whether or not magic was involved at all." And then the BYU professor had the astonishing dumb fuckery to preach that anyone who backs religion against the empirical evidence of science is an embarrassment. "Oh, you mean like the Book of Mormon? Pose much?" Then the MC got up and welcomed people of faith, of all faiths, but gave not a nod at all to people of no faith. Here's the thing, peeps. The problem isn't moderate religion versus fundamentalism. The problem is evidence versus faith, reality versus magic, science versus religion. Religion is the biggest alt fact of all.
Did he
Yeah.
drop his mic at that point? Jesus Christ, that's
Yeah, oh, yeah.
fantastic.
That was a mic dropping motherfucker right there. So it's sad that our March for Science was filled with religious woo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that does suck because that's the exact opposite of what what is at the heart of science, which is skepticism, and then testing things over and over again
Yes.
to try and come out with an actual evidence to support a hypothesis of some sort.
Yep, the opposite of faith.
It's embarrassing to me, though, that our science march was filled with fairy tales and, crap like that. Salt Lake bothers the living shit out of me, and I think this podcast is going to attest for that. So,
Yeah, I think that's part of the reason why we decided to actually record the shit we talk about because, yeah, we all feel strongly that part of Utah is skeptical, and we want to try and get the group awakened, and we also want to point out to our friends who aren't skeptical that guess what? There's good reason to be skeptical about the bullshit. Joseph Smith's not going to Joseph Smith didn't come out and write this book because God told him to. I mean, and all of these things didn't come to pass because God willed it to be. It's because this is how human life works, and this is not the place by any magical preponderance. It just happened to be where Brigham Young stopped.
Yeah, and then they say no one was here, but there was plenty of settlers already here, and if they didn't convert to Mormonism, they were actually killed by Porter Rockwell. Yeah. And that's a fact. So,
sounds like loving Mormonism.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So I have the Gallup Daily Poll, and actually, let's do the poll first, and then I have a correction to issue. So going down the numbers, real unemployment is 89.9%, Gallup Good Jobs is 44.8%, engaged at work is 31.9%, economic confidence is at 5%, consumer spending is at $95, and the Trump's approval rating is at 42%. At this rate, unless he takes a dip, he might stop being at historic lows here in the next month and a half. In the next 20 days, if Donald Trump's approval goes up to 45%, then he can pass Gerald Ford as the least, or with approval rating, not with overall. And he can also pass Bill Clinton here in about the next 40 days. So...
Wow.
We'll see what happens.
How exciting.
Yeah, I know. He might not be the unprecedentedly unpopular.
I'll be curious to see where this goes.
Okay, and so then the correction that I wanted to talk about is last week I said we did a story on this guy who the judge said incredible people can do terrible things, and you guys might want to respond to this too. And then also, I said that he was probably only going to go away for 6 to 10 years, but my teacher actually is involved in that story. He's not part of the case or a party to the case or defense for the party of the case or anything like that. But he made it clear to me that no, this guy's going away for life, which changes the context of a couple of things. The first thing being that the reason why he didn't put him in jail, why he let him go out of jail, my teacher suspects is because it's like, get your shit in order because you're going away for life.
Oh, okay.
So that was the reason why he wasn't put in jail immediately or kept in jail. I still kind of disagree with that.
I mean, do they do that with everybody?
No.
Yeah,
that's the reason why I disagree with the judge doing
like
that.
You raped some people.
Well, yeah, he was giving them special treatment.
Yeah, and this is a rape case. Sorry, I don't think I mentioned that. Thanks for bringing that up, Matt.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is the reason that he said the things he said about him being an outstanding person was because this was in a 2-hour-long sentencing process, was because it was more specifically to address all of the letters of character that were given. Like all these people, like he got 50 letters of people saying, "Oh, this guy's outstanding." So what he was trying to do, again, this is somewhat speculative, but what he was trying to do was acknowledge that these people thought that this guy was an amazing person, and say that amazing people can still do bad things, or incredible people. I still disagree with him saying that. Like, you guys, if I was the judge, it's your job to let them know that no matter what, and I wouldn't try and sugarcoat it, that if he rapes somebody, he's going to jail.
Yeah.
So the thing here is, how many things does it take to make you a bad person or a good person, right?
How many goat.
How many bad things?
Joe's like, how many goats can I get away with fucking?
No, as soon as you fuck one goat, you're a goat fucker. Doesn't matter if you're an electrical engineer or a space astronaut or whatever, you fuck one goat, you're a goat fucker.
Because I'm sure Hitler could have got 50 letters saying he was a good person.
Sure.
So to say even great people can make mistakes is, I think, a bullshit kind of line. You're not a great person if you rape people. So saying even great people make mistakes, I think, is just kind of giving the guy a little more credit than he deserves.
Well, I think a mistake is something you leave the keys on the counter and you walk out of your house and lock the door.
Yeah,
that's a mistake.
And he was in a position of trust with these
but
women.
When you rape, and it wasn't one time, it was several times. He had 10 counts.
No, I don't remember how many times he got charged with rape, but it was two separate women, and one of them he was like a parent figure of sorts.
Yeah, and then he continued to do it, obviously, or I imagine there wouldn't have been as many counts as there was.
Yeah.
But so that's not a mistake. And usually when you make a mistake, you learn from it. If you're an intelligent person, you make the mistake, you learn from it, you move on.
Yeah.
Otherwise it doesn't become a mistake anymore. It becomes something else. And that's what it is, And sorry, rape isn't a mistake, Raping
right.
someone several times is not a mistake.
Here, here.
Yeah,
So-
very much true. So I mean, I definitely agree with that part of it, and I disagree with the way the judge framed it. But I just wanted
Yeah.
to give more clarification to what was being thought when the judge said that.
Yeah.
Which makes it a little more understandable. Like, and there's really no reason to say, because the Salt Lake Tribune came out with an op-ed saying we should
okay.
remove him from the bench, and I'm not sure if I agree with that. My teacher absolutely does not agree with that. He doesn't think that this judge is more or less bad for saying what he said.
Yeah.
He just said that it's unfortunate that a lot of people are taking it out of the total context of what it was intended, or what the judge probably intended.
Yeah.
And so, a final thing, I guess on my part, I'm being selfish, but I think you guys will enjoy this far more than I do. I was half an hour late, and I feel that it's only fair that half an hour late that I do something to correct my mistake, or at least acknowledge that I made a mistake. So
There you go, Josh.
we have some Cholula here, and I poured it into a shot glass. I'm going to do just a little bit more, and then I'm going to take a shot for your guys' enjoyment. So you probably hear me cough in the background, but there will be video recording up on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. He's pouring the hot sauce in the shot glass.
Bottoms up.
Cheers, buddy.
I'll live. Joe, it's your turn.
Wait, I'm not taking a shot. All right, so this, like I said earlier when we were talking about the Science March with Utah and Salt Lake, and of course how they, had all sorts of superstition in a Science March, which makes absolutely no sense. Let's talk about Salt Lake a little bit more. So, this is coming from Fox 13, and this is an actual story here in Utah that's getting people completely upset here in Utah. So, be prepared for it. It's stupid. Okay. Salt Lake City. Some Utah Jazz season ticket holders have to choose between their favorite team and their faith this weekend. Game 4 against the Clippers marks the first time all season the Jazz will play a home game on a Sunday. It's arguably the most important game of the season, according to season ticket holder Lowell Crabb, who has attended all but 4 home games all season. So, here's a quote from him. "We go the whole year. You watch all the regular season games. You connect with the players. You feel like you're a part of it," Crabb said. However, despite his fanaticism with the Jazz, he will not be going to Sunday's playoff game. "It's a bummer. It's a super big bummer. It's a disappointment for sure," he said. His family decided it just wouldn't be right to attend Sunday's game due to their LDS faith. Members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints often follow strict rules for observing the sanctity of the Sabbath day. "Not worth it for me as far as my beliefs in kind where we're at," Crabb said. So Crabb, along with other LDS fans, are selling their tickets on the internet sites and trying to get their money back. Crabb spent more than $1,000 for his 4 seats. He said it's not fair because the Jazz required him to commit to the tickets before the playoff schedule was even released. When it's kind of sprung on you last minute after you made the decision, I think that's kind of where the rub is. You are kind of left with the bag with really no control, Crabb said. The Jazz said they asked the NBA not to schedule Sunday home games, but when it comes to the playoffs, there are lots of factors involved. It's kind of confusing. I guess probably would be a way to say it, where they are supportive during one portion of the year, and then all of a sudden, when it's big money and the TV deals are big, they go the other direction, Crabb said. Not everyone is picking their religion over the Jazz. On the BYU fan site, cougarboard.com, John Boy Walton wrote, "I'm skipping church Sunday to go to Game 4. Someone named Kerbachard or something or other replied, "And God will punish you by making the Jazz lose." Crabb said there's no doubt the arena will still have its share of Mormons in attendance Sunday, and he said that's okay and they shouldn't be judged for it. a couple of my buddies have been like, oh, the man upstairs will understand and all that. So I know there's a fair amount that are cool going on, Crab said. But this is an actual news article from Fox 13. They went to this guy's house and interviewed him. Right. It drove me nuts. I saw it on Facebook. I had to comment on it.
So since Mr. Crab's a Utah, why don't we... I'm going to address him directly.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Crab, you're the person who gives Mormonism a bad name. You're also the main reason why Utah will never get an NFL team. Thank you so much.
And since I'm a bigger lover of football, go fuck yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to put this in consideration, like... your Sunday. Okay, so first off, nobody's skipping church to go to this. This game is at fucking 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
There's nobody who has church at 7 o'clock at night.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So
Oh
the person
my
who
God.
said that can go fuck themselves for lying. And also, Mr. Crab, it doesn't matter. Like, guess what your favorite apostle does on Sundays when he's out traveling? Spends fucking money and gets food from people and does all those things that you're supposed to not do.
Yeah.
But you can't make the exception because you're so devoted to Mormonism. And again, the Sabbath day is kind of just a fucking guideline. People travel on Sundays.
Yeah.
My family traveled on Sundays all the time. And it was not because my dad wasn't a good Mormon. He was. He was the most devout Mormon that I know. He's serving a fucking LDS mission downtown Salt Lake City right now. So you are, again, by making yourself an example on this, and trying to woo the NBA and say, oh, you're so unfair for making the Jazz play on a Sunday. Stop being such a fucking special snowflake like all the Republicans always say that the liberals are.
Yeah, for real.
You don't
He
get
needs
special,
his safe space.
you don't get special treatment. So, and guess what? Those tickets will sell for more than the fucking face value of them because everybody wants to go to the Jazz games. So, again, cry about it. And the other thing that's going to make me upset is guess what he's going to be doing tonight? I'm not going to the game. I'm just going to watch it at home.
Yeah, he's going to be sitting there watching it. Yeah, exactly.
So stop being
I
the
could have been there.
dumbass.
I could have been sitting right there watching this live.
Stop feeding into this nonsense because, again, all you're doing is being the Mormon that everybody fucking hates.
You know what, Josh? Your response is so much better than my response because I commented on the Facebook.
Yours
on
is
Fox-
really funny, though, Joe.
Okay,
Too.
but what's funny is you can see the skepticism on Facebook on the Fox 13 page. Almost everybody's like, oh my God, stop it, go to the fucking game, pussy. You know what I mean? Which is hilarious, and even some of the Christians on there are like, just go to the game and repent next Sunday, and it's like, it's no big deal. I commented, though, as an atheist, I see this whole issue completely ridiculous. Quote, I can't go somewhere and watch something because magic voodoo zombie Jesus, derpa flip, Sunday wax stain pop pop. End quote. Oh, wow. Makes so much sense, Christians. Thumbs up.
Because it's nonsense.
It's nonsense.
It's gibberish.
It's complete nonsense. Let me read that again. I can't go somewhere and watch something because magic voodoo, zombie Jesus, derpa flip, Sunday wax, stain pop pop. That's exactly how it sounds to me. Reading that article, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
It made no sense. So, but Josh's fucking response to that was hilarious. Oh my God.
Yeah, sometimes I get fucking angry, and that's what comes out, is just that. All right, and so speaking about people who annoy the fuck out of me, let's talk about Jason Chaffetz or Chaffetz.
Yay, more Utah shit.
Yep, and this is coming from Salon. Why is Jason Chaffetz running away? A rising Republican star doesn't just retire from Congress for nothing. And it's Wednesday's announcement by Jason Chaffetz that he will retire from Congress next year appears to have taken even senior Republicans both in Washington and his home state of Utah by surprise. Chaffetz was a rising star in the House GOP caucus and has a powerful position as head of the Oversight Committee. So why step down now? As it happens, there are several possible explanations ranging from the silly to the obvious. Which ones are correct? And then it goes through a bunch of issues that could be the reason he's facing pressure because of investigations to Russian ties. He's bored. He really does want to spend more time with his family, and he's cashing in on his congressional experience with a 6 or 7 figure lobbyist job. Now that's the one I want to talk about. So Jason Chaffetz announced that he's retiring, and he could eventually become House Speaker like Paul Ryan is, because he's one of those people who always took it to Hillary Clinton and made sure that there was fucking part of the 9 investigations or however fucking many there were. And sorry for swearing so much, but he just annoys me. And he came to Utah. He did a forum a month ago, and we talked about this on the podcast. And he was like, "Oh, we can't do Trump, or we can't investigate Trump because he has the immunity." But that's not the reason you investigate it. You investigate it so you can possibly start impeachment trial. But of course, he just said he wasn't going to, and instead, what did he investigated? I think Sesame Street instead. It was one of the children's things, and there's so a few things have happened because of his being a lame ass, and that's that the Democrat who's going to run against Jason has raised over what $200,000,
a lot of money.
Jason's popularity in the polls has dropped a bunch, which me and Matt have talked about off air, and so he's decided not to rerun. And also, I think that he's probably either going to run for governor or for Senate. So, and I'm not sure if he's going to run in 2018, but that's kind of what I posted.
So I heard the FBI actually, I heard they are investigating him.
Investigating
Chaffetz.
For, do you know what?
Something to do with Russian money.
Oh, that would be interesting. Hopefully that comes to light if that's a true thing. And he's denied it all reason, and I haven't seen that, so I can't speak to it, but he's denied all wrongdoings, like preemptively. He said that's not the reason why he was stepping down and not running again.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of people online here in Utah are saying this is a good thing, and I just want to point out why I don't necessarily think it is. Because, like you said, Josh, his popularity has been going down even among Republicans, and if he would stay in his seat and run again, it would give somebody else a better chance, like a Democrat or a Libertarian or somebody. But now he'll drop out, another Republican will come up, and everybody here in Utah, as long as he's Republican or Mormon, they're going to vote for him, which will shut down any chance a Democrat or a Libertarian or a Green Party, anybody else, they won't have a chance.
Yeah.
Because Utah is going to vote red Mormon. That's what we want. We want red Mormon here.
Yeah, that's essentially it. And actually, that's not true. Salt Lake County overwhelmingly votes in Democratic mayors. And the reason why this keeps on happening is because of the gerrymandering that's happened where they split Salt Lake City into 4 different sections so that all 4 of them can be separated with other majorly Republican, like hugely Republican sections of the state.
Gerrymandering is a huge issue across the whole entire election process, from the bottom up. And I think Arnold Schwarzenegger said in California after he became governor or whatever, they did away with gerrymandering. And he said, God, there was over 643 lines or something like that. Like, it was a crazy amount of gerrymandering. And people who were in office for years and kept getting reelected stopped getting reelected. Nobody wanted those people in office. And I that's what we need to do. We need to stop the gerrymandering. It's an issue.
It is, definitely.
All right, so guys, this story is from the Satanic Temple.
Woo!
666.
Satan.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So this story recaps a story we've talked about before, but there's some updates. It's kind of a long story, so bear with me, all right? So Arkansas is moving forward with plans to erect a 10 Commandments monument on their Capitol grounds, disingenuously approved by the state legislature as a privately donated homage to a historical document. Obviously, Arkansas lawmakers, and especially the 10 Commandments, lead sponsor Senator Jason Rapert, who also runs his own ministry, didn't expect any other viewpoints of religious significance.
I'm sorry, that is hilarious.
Significance to be offered by way of private donation once that door had been opened. The Satanic Temple naturally requested to place Baphomet on the same grounds, at which Rappert publicly declared that in no circumstances would a satanic monument ever stand at Little Rock Capitol, regardless of what the First Amendment might say. As the Baphomet request passed through subcommittee hearings, reaching its public hearing phase, Senator Rapert desperately passed an emergency bill without specifying the exact nature of the emergency, requiring that any monument request, before being considered by the Arts and Grounds Commission, needs first be approved by the legislator. Though our approval process was well underway with the Arts and Grounds Commission and our public hearing was already scheduled, the process was halted, suddenly pending unlikely approval from the legislator. Of course, imposing a requirement of government approval for any and all representation in a limited public forum seems discriminatory. However, before possibly filing a lawsuit, the Satanic Temple seeks to demonstrate in practice that the requirement is discriminatory, and so we've been seeking a sponsor on the legislator to present our Baphomet proposal. On February 27th, we sent our first message to the lawmakers explaining the situation. So basically, they asked for someone to represent them and to propose the Baphomet statue. Okay, so that was in February. And I'm not going to read all these correspondence between the senators and the politicians, but I urge you guys and our listeners to go read all the correspondence between them. So they sent another letter to them just recently, and I'm going to read it to you guys. Here we go. Dear Honorable Lawmaker of Arkansas, this is a follow-up to a previous letter you received from the Satanic Temple offering you the opportunity to sponsor our monument for representation on the state capitol grounds. My apologies if you've already replied to the previous letter. We are simply establishing our due diligence. After multiple appeals for sponsorship, we expect we'll establish that the bureaucratic process employed by Arkansas for monument approval is indeed discriminatory. When one monument of religious significance is sponsored to the exclusion of another, and the legislative process is openly abused by self-serving politicians like Senator Jason Rapert, we feel it our honorable duty to challenge this constitutional corruption. To reiterate from our previous letter, if you wish to maintain an argument for the legality of a Ten Commandments monument on Capitol grounds, consider sponsoring our Baphomet monument for inclusion on the Capitol grounds as well. Otherwise, we are confident that the Ten Commandments monument will be deemed illegal and will come down. Please reply by the end of the week, Friday, 21 April 2017. Love, Lucian Greaves. So, we're going to see, and if you go and read this article, you can see the correspondence between them, and nobody's going to sponsor it. One person says, "Leave me alone, stop contacting me." Most of the letters are condescending towards the Satanic Temple.
Yeah, of course.
So a lawsuit I see coming. It's going to happen, and obviously they're going to either allow Baphomet to go up or they're going to take the Ten Commandments down because it's unconstitutional. You can't just have one and deny another one just because, you think Baphomet or Satan is scary and he's the bad guy and I'm on the side of the good guy, God Almighty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the great trickster.
You should take a moment and put that on the Evil Atheist Facebook group page.
I will. You can read it there.
All right. But yeah, I think that's a good article. It's important because we're talking about the First Amendment, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and also freedom of religion.
Yep.
If you care about those things and you think that that they should be treated equally, then you should be for the Satanic Temple monument going up, not fighting against it, even if you believe Jesus is Savior. And that's one of the things that was surprising to me in our interview with Shalise, was that a lot of Christians understood what was going on. Like they were savvy to it, and they were groovy with it. Like they were totally fine with an after-school program with Satanism because they knew that it wasn't threatening to their kids at all. So,
and a lot of the biggest proponents of church-state separation are religious people. As long as they're thinking logically, they understand the importance of church-state separation, even if they're religious and they support it.
I think a lot of the I think the majority of the people who would get upset over stuff like this and who want their Christianity inside of our government are the ones who are terrified of Sharia law, when essentially it's the exact same fucking thing.
Yeah.
I think ignorance is bliss completely.
They hate theocracy unless it's their own theocracy.
Yeah, unless it's their own theocracy. But, I don't know. The Bible is not much different than the Quran.
Filled with violence.
Yep. So, yeah, that's all I got to say about that. All right, so I got a science story.
Ba-dum-bum-bum,
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Joe! God, we're fucking lame. I love it, though. I love it. I love being corny. If someone was if you're listening to that and you're like, God, that's lame. Fuck you. I know. I don't care. I like it. All right, so this is coming from Universe Today. Black hole imaged for first time by Event Horizon Telescope. The article was published or updated April 15th, 2017. 4 decades, scientists have held the supermassive black holes reside at the center of larger galaxies. These reality-bending points in space exert an extremely powerful influence on all things that surround them, consuming matter and spitting out a tremendous amount of energy. But given their nature, all attempts to study them has been confined to indirect methods. All of that changed beginning on Wednesday, April 12, 2017, when an international team of astronomers obtained the first image of a Sagittarius A using a series of telescopes from around the globe. Collectively known as the Event Horizon Telescope, they were able to visualize the mysterious region around this giant black hole from which matter and energy cannot escape, i.e., the event horizon. Not only is this the first time that this mysterious region around a black hole has been imaged, it is also the most extreme test of Einstein's theory of general relativity, holy shit, ever attempted. It also represents the culmination of the EHT project, which was established specifically for the purpose of studying black holes directly and improving our understanding of them. The image is pretty cool. I'll post this article on the
group page?
The group
Evil
page,
Atheist
so
group, Facebook group page?
Yeah, the Evil Atheists, which is plural, group page.
Facebook.com/groups/the Evil Atheists.
Since it began capturing data in 2006, the EHT has been dedicated to the study of Sagittarius A, since it is the nearest SMBH, or black hole, in the known universe, located about 25,000 light-years from Earth. Specifically, scientists hope to determine if the black holes are surrounded by a circular region from which matter and energy cannot escape, and how they accelerate matter onto themselves. Rather than constituting a single facility, the EHT relies on a worldwide network of radio astronomy facilities based on 4 continents, all of which are dedicated to studying one of the most powerful and mysterious forces in the universe. This process, whereby widely spaced radio dishes from across the globe are connected into an Earth-sized virtual telescope, is known as Very Long Baseline Interferometry, or whatever the hell. Holy shit. As Michael Bremer, an astronomer at the International Research Institute for Radio Astronomy and a project manager for the Event Horizon Telescope, said in an interview with AFP, quote, "Instead of building a telescope so big that it would probably collapse under its own weight, we combined 8 observatories like pieces of a giant mirror. This gave us a virtual telescope as big as Earth, about 10,000 kilometers in diameter." The story goes on a little bit more, but it's a really cool read. Check it out, and the images are awesome.
Black holes are so interesting. There's a lot of podcasts you can listen to where they have scientists discuss black holes and how they work or how we think they work, and it's some of the most interesting things to just think about. You know, it's where physics, our understanding of physics breaks down, is within black holes.
Yeah,
and it's just crazy.
Yeah, and we don't know if they work like wormholes. We don't know if they work like separate internal universes. We have no clue, and it's going to be one of those things that like 100,000 years from now we'll start discovering stuff. But I mean it's in the distant future, like when we are exploring space. So and it'll eventually everything will possibly fall into a black hole. But yeah, the images I want to see. I haven't seen them yet, so I'm looking forward to seeing them.
Yeah. I think it was Stephen Hawking said that the universe is, if it was created for anything, it was created for the existence of black holes and stuff, because, you know, there's plenty of them, and they are good at what they do.
Yeah, the universe isn't designed around humans surviving.
Yeah.
Everything is here to kill us. You know,
Yeah,
you leave,
potentially
we
they-
leave this rock, you're gonna die,
Yeah.
and you're gonna die on most of the places on this rock.
Yeah.
But black holes, man, they thrive.
Oh, yeah. They thrive in our universe.
All right, so my next story is coming from Business Insider, entitled "It's Performance Art." Lawyer for Alex Jones says InfoWars founder is playing a character. The real Alex Jones is not bombastic, conspiratorial InfoWars persona. His lawyer is hoping to convince a Texas jury the radio host's child custody battle. That's more or less what attorney Randall Wilhite told Texas District Judge Orlinda Naranjo. The Austin American-Statesman reported on Sunday. Wilhite told Naranjo that Jones' public personality should not be considered as material in an evaluation for InfoWars founder ability to be father. Wilhite said doing so would be comparable to judging actor Jack Nicholson in such custody battle based on his performance as the Joker in Batman. He's playing a character, Wilhite said of Jones. He is a performance artist. So I just wanted to take a second. I mean, like, I think that we kind of knew that he's a performance artist, but I don't think that a lot of the internet knows that.
Mm-mm.
So what do you think about that, Matt?
Jeff D. he used to be a host on the Atheist Experience, posted this on Facebook. Trump, quote, "Your reputation is amazing. I will not let you down." Alex Jones, "I'm a phony, Your Honor."
For real. But, I mean, that's the thing. Like, he shouldn't be able to have it both ways. Either what he's doing is lying to a bunch of people, trying to get them riled up. But I think that a lot of the conspiratorial group, they're either nutbags or they're fucking like the WWE. They're performance artists. And I don't know. I haven't really discerned where Alex Jones is on that scale. Some of me thinks that he's a fucking nutbag, but part of me thinks that he's just performance art. And,
I think it's a little bit of both.
and that's what I mean. He should, if he what he's saying is true. If he wins this part of the custody battle, someone should sue him and say that he has to have a disclaimer at the beginning or end of his show where he says that this is performance art and should not be taken seriously or literally.
That would be a damn good idea. I think they should do that with most of the pundits that we have on TV.
Yeah. You're a little more broad on that because than I am. I think that obviously what Alex Jones is saying isn't true, and like that's the thing. Like the Comet Pizza Gate, whatever, fuck it. The thing that he got in trouble for was he said that Comet, this little Comet Pizza place is helping Hillary Clinton in taking over the world
With intergalactic child molesters.
Yeah, interdimensional. Get it right.
Oh, yeah, interdimensional child molesters.
The demons. But
Are they reptilians?
yeah, they're reptilian demon soul-sucking vampires. And he says shit just like that. Like this is not too much of an exaggeration.
And
to what he fucking
he's like,
says.
he looks scared when he's talking. Oh my!
And then, I apologize, I'm a Christian.
Yeah, but he had to take down those 6 things, and he issued an apology because he was wrong, and he was obviously wrong. But he gets away with saying all sorts of shit like this. He just got a little too specific in this case, and that's the reason why he issued a retraction and an apology. But I mean, like these things are dangerous for people to believe. Some nutbag brought a gun into Little Comet Pizza and was threatening to shoot people and was looking for the fucking child, like the slave basement.
The interdimensional child molesters.
Yeah,
In the slave basement.
And
I mean,
the pizza place was called Comet.
yeah, it was.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and so like, and it was supposedly had ties to Hillary Clinton and blah blah blah, and it was nonsense. In his stories, like there are people who are buying guns because of the shit he says. There are people who are storing food for because of the shit he says. There are people who are libertarian for the wrong reasons. Like there's good philosophical reasons for being libertarian. I disagree with most of those reasons, but the other side of it are these crazy whack jobs who think the government's out to overthrow the population, which makes no sense at all because the people, the elite, who aren't really in some massive conspiracy, but are in an obvious conspiracy to take over our government by bribing our politicians legally through campaign donations.
See, and I've said that, and people have called me a conspiracy theorist, and it's like, no, it's right there. It's fact. You can look it up. It's not. I'm not saying aliens and blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's opensecrets.org. They track the donations, and they don't report anything that they cannot verify.
And a prestigious school came out with a study saying, the government does not work for the people anymore. It works for the elite who pay the government money.
But so, I mean, to me, it's obvious. And so you don't need some deep conspiracy. And these people, the elite, quote unquote, make their money by a good working economic engine. And that engine is the American economy. And so that's how they make their money. They make it skimming off the top, not toppling the bottom.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that if he wins this, that the character, or InfoWars is just a character, Alex Jones as InfoWars is a character, then he should have to put a disclaimer.
Sometimes I wish we could do this, but at the same time I don't, because it goes against people's rights. But I sometimes feel like maybe we should, take applications before you have children. And, and part of the application on there, it should say, do you watch InfoWars? Or, you know what I mean? Shit like that. Oh, nope, sorry, failed. You don't get to have kids. But, of course, we can't do that. It would go against many, many rights. So, but, God, sometimes I wish, huh?
Interdimensional space aliens molesting children.
The goddamn Clinton. I apologize.
He needs to die. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a Christian. Well, no, Alex, you sounded very much like a Christian right there. That's fine.
All right.
All right.
This story is coming from Pathios, Hema Meta, the Friendly Atheist. Here we go.
Woo!
As many Christian right activists will tell you, it's perfectly legal for a school district to offer an optional class teaching the Bible as literature. Given how much the book is referenced and the prevalence of biblical stories in our popular culture, that makes a lot of sense. If you knew nothing about the Garden of Eden or how Job suffered, you'd miss out on a lot of illusions. But a class like that has to be taught correctly. There's a difference between treating the Bible as literature and teaching it as the Word of God. The former is okay, and the latter isn't. And there have been a number of times when Christians teaching the course have crossed the line. That's the fear at Millen High School in Tennessee. The course was approved for next year, and math teacher Larry Eddings was tapped to teach it. Posted about that on Facebook, he gave away the game, suggesting he was going to proselytize in the classroom. So I'm going to read his post. Quote, "Exciting news! Milan High School will be offering a Bible class as an elective course for the 2017-2018 school year. The class will be taught by yours truly. Can you believe this is happening? Please join me in praying that kids will sign up for the class so it will make. Praise be to God that He has made a way for the Word to go forth. Share this so many people can see it and spread the word."
I think he was just ignorant to the fact and didn't understand exactly what he was teaching.
I don't think so. I mean, it's pretty obvious you can't teach the Bible as the Word of God, but you can teach it as like a literature from a historical standpoint.
Well, did they actually? I honestly think this guy's an idiot.
Yeah,
because why else would he post that on a social media site where everyone can see it? And he probably thought that the school was getting a Bible class. Because I think he's an idiot.
Yeah, and so probably it was pitched to the administration as we're gonna do this as a literature class instead of as a Bible teaching class, so they could get away with it in schools. And this asshole just gave up the game.
Yeah.
So and I would teach a Bible class, and I would teach it
too.
In a way not to I would not be critical of the Bible and more than understanding it as a literature thing. And I think that it's important to understand the Bible as a piece of literature. It has had a profound effect on the human species to this point. Because of the way that a lot of people have taken it literally. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's important to have that context. But you can't teach it, like, when someone calls it the Word of God, then that's where you start running into issues.
Yeah.
There's more. Where that came from. What's clear is that Eddings has crossed the line many times, never been punished for it, and he has every intention of pushing his faith when he teaches a literature class that he has no business teaching. Being a Christian shouldn't be a prerequisite to teaching a Bible as a literature class, much less the only one. It gets worse. When Jane from FFRF did some research on Eddings, he also found plenty of evidence of the teacher proselytizing while on the job, joining students in prayer and using his role as an advisor to preach. All of this is illegal. Eddings has also traveled in order to proselytize. In his words, pour into students in other school districts. On March 29th and March 30th, he stated that he was fixing to head into Brentwood High School and pour into over 200 kids that show up for FCA. Come on, Holy Spirit, manifest yourself. In another picture where he is with 7 students, he states, got to pour into these young people at Brentwood High School today about disciple making. What a blessing. So, yeah. We'll see what happens. This guy's a perv.
He needs to go to jail.
No,
he doesn't.
No, he's breaking the law. You can't proselytize to children inside of a public school.
Well,
you should go to jail.
That doesn't. Okay, so that's not a criminal action, but it's an action for suspension as a state actor.
Okay,
So
well,
I mean, there's a couple different things. I mean that.
But what's funny, if there was a Muslim person doing the exact same thing, he would probably claim that person needs to go to jail.
Maybe I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
If he saw it as an excuse,
assuming.
if he saw it as an excuse to preach more, he would use that excuse, of course.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he would argue to shut down religion when he saw an easy way in or out. I don't know, depending on how you think about it.
Yeah.
All right, Joe, you got a story?
Got another story. Bill O'Reilly is, guess what?
What?
Guess.
Fired.
He is fired. He is forced out of Fox News.
Last week, I said I didn't think it would happen.
Yeah, I can't believe it. All right, so here we go. Bill O'Reilly. The Bill O'Reilly reign as the top rated host in cable news came to an abrupt and embarrassing end on Wednesday as Fox News forced him out after the disclosure of a series of sexual harassment allegations against him, an internal investigation that turned up even more. Mr. O'Reilly and his employers came under intense pressure after an article by the New York Times on April 1st revealed how Fox News and its parent company, 21st Century Fox, had repeatedly stood by him even as he and the company reached settlements with 5 women who had complained about sexual harassment or other inappropriate behavior by him. The agreements totaled about $13 million. That's a lot of money.
Yep.
Since then, more than 50 advertisers had abandoned his show, and women's rights groups had called for him to be fired. Inside the company, women expressed outrage and questioned whether top executives were serious about maintaining a culture based on trust and respect, as they had promised last summer when another sexual harassment scandal led to the ouster of Roger E. Ailes as chairman of Fox News. That left Mr. O'Reilly's fate in the hands of the Murdoch family, which controls 21st Century Fox. In the end, according to 2 people familiar with the decision, Rupert Murdoch and his sons, James and Lachlan, made their call after reviewing the results of an internal investigation found multiple women had reported inappropriate behavior by Mr. O'Reilly. After a thorough and careful review of the allegations, the company and Bill O'Reilly have agreed that Bill O'Reilly will not be returning to the Fox News channel, 21st Century Fox said in a statement. During an appearance at the event in New York on Wednesday evening, James Murdoch stopped to answer a question about the decision, saying, "We did a thorough investigation, a thorough review, and we reached a conclusion. Everything that we said in our statement is all you need to know." For a generation of conservative-leaning Fox News viewers, Mr. O'Reilly, 67, was a populist voice who railed against what they viewed as politically correct message of lecturing liberal media. Defiantly proclaiming his show a no-spin zone, he produced programming infused with patriotism and a scorn for feminists and what he called the war on Christmas, which became one of his signature themes.
No spin zone, huh?
Yeah, no spin zone.
So I think that's a good place to stop
Yeah.
and talk about it. But I think that so here's something to think about. You guys both have young children, and you know what's fantastic? they will remember as Bill O'Reilly as the person who got fired at Fox News and the person who said, "Fuck it, we'll do it live." Like that.
Yeah.
That's what he'll be remembered by your children as.
Oh yeah, well there's all those gifs
So-
going around. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Fuck it, blah, and he's
Yeah.
just losing his shit.
Bill O'Reilly goes in, Bill O'Reilly comes out. Can't explain that.
Can't explain it. Explain it.
Yeah. And
So what's bullshit is the Murdochs are saying we did an investigation and we decided to fire him. They already knew about all this shit.
Yeah.
Why they decided to fire him was because the advertisers. The advertisers start leaving, and 2 days later he's fired.
Oh,
They've
yeah.
known about all these allegations, and they settled these allegations with $13 million.
Yeah.
But
that's
all of a sudden, we did an investigation, and now we decided it's time to fire him.
we're going to be losing a lot more than $13 million. Let's get rid of this jackass, and we'll look like the good guys, and we'll just hire someone else who's going to do the exact same thing, and then as soon as they get busted, then we'll fire them.
Yeah.
Tommy Lauren.
You know, as soon as we start, but...
and the people
I
who
guess
are-
we'll see. With like I said, there's probably not going to be a sex scandal, and if there is, everyone's going to be like, "Wee!"
And so something to consider also about Roger Ailes and Bill O'Reilly. Like there are people running to his aid and saying, "Oh, he would never do something like that." And these are the conservatives who have been watching him for a long time and think he's a swell dude.
Yeah.
But Fox News is one of the most litigious organizations. Like they're quite capable of defending somebody who's innocent. Like very capable of defending somebody who's innocent. Plus, they have 1/7 of media power in the United States market. They could easily, if they thought that they could report on what actually happened if they found something different in their reports.
Yeah.
But so Bill O'Reilly's not innocent or I don't think Bill O'Reilly is likely to be innocent because obviously they're not taking that path. They're not defending their star. And the other thing to consider is that it's not everybody at Fox News who's getting accused of sexual harassment. It's Roger Ailes and Bill O'Reilly, and that's it. So it doesn't look like Sean Hannity, who is also wealthy, also a star, is getting accused of these same things, probably because Sean Hannity is not the same fucking type of pervert that Bill O'Reilly and Roger Ailes is.
Yeah.
Here.
And I think I was watching something on Stephen Colbert, and he was discussing about one of the issues and with Bill O'Reilly. And I guess there was an African American woman who was working there, and he said to her, "How's it going, chocolate?" or something like that, and like made a very sexual.
Like you guys were at the beginning with the whipped cream and chocolate?
Basically, yeah. and then plus it was racist, you know, like
Yeah.
calling her chocolate and all that stuff. It's
Hey,
and
hot
it's.
chocolate.
I mean, I can understand you like if you're in a interracial couple, you know, and you have discussed your boundaries and everything like that, and you know you come up with pet names, and chocolate could be one of them. Whatever, you know, that's cool. But someone you work with, you know, that you have no personal relationship with, and then you start calling them chocolate and things like that. That's
And I'm sure that Bill O'Reilly had seniority and superiority over this woman.
and that's the
Oh,
reason
yeah.
why he's had to settle for so much money is because in almost all of these circumstances, the women felt like it was either put out or be fired, or put out to the extent that they did, like
Yeah.
the phone sex. And so not all of it was forced sex, but enough of it would easily classify as sexual harassment.
you're in a position of power. Try not to abuse it.
Yeah. All right, next story. This one is a little scary. This is called comes from Independent. White House defends portrayal of naval armada sent to a Korean peninsula. President Trump declaration of seafaring might intend to unsettle Pyongyang, badly undermined by fleet's diversion to Australia for pre-planned training exercise. So this is like there are two things going on here. President Donald Trump administration has denied being misleading about U.S. carrier strike groups pushed towards the Korean peninsula, saying it never gave an arrival date and the ships were still on their way. When Trump boasted last week that he sent an armada as a warning to North Korea, USS Carl Vinson strike group was still far away from the Korean peninsula and headed in the opposite direction. The U.S. Military Specific Command explained on Tuesday that the strike group first had to complete a shorter than initially planned period of training with Australia, but was now headed towards the West Pacific. The president said that we had an armada going towards the peninsula. That's a fact. It happened. It's happening rather, said White House spokesman Sean Spicer. who still somehow keeps his job.
Yeah.
He referred further queries about the deployment timetable to the Pentagon. The U.S. military initially said in a statement dated April 10th that Admiral Harry Harris, the commander of the Pacific Command, directed Vincent Strike Group to sail north and report on the station on the West Pacific. So, I mean, and really I want to talk about this more generally, less specifically. And that's just really looks like Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un are doing whatever they can to agitate each other. And I don't know how that's going to play out. It's really because what we're looking at is a circumstance where North Korea is holding South Korea hostage with nuclear weapons that they can easily deliver to South Korea and possibly to Japan. And they're threatening to bomb them, and Trump is threatening to do a strike on North Korea if they test any more nuclear weapons or intercontinental ballistic missiles. So I don't know how this plays out. What do you think, Matt?
So I really don't know where I stand, Josh. Do we wait for North Korea to bomb Seoul or Japan and then attack? Do we attack them preemptively? I stand on the side of do not attack unless we're attacked.
Yeah.
But North Korea, Kim Jong-un is a psycho child, so I honestly don't know where I stand.
Well, and see, here's the thing. I don't think he's going to bomb Japan or bomb South Korea unless he's agitated enough. When I think the strike that Trump is talking about doing is that type of thing that would agitate him. I guarantee Kim Jong-un would rather go out in a blaze of glory than just die.
But you got to look, too, at what Pence just did. I don't know if you guys know this. I can't remember what it's called, but it's the little military...
Demilitarized zone.
Yeah, where the South Koreans and the North Koreans sit there and stand there and look at each other all day, the soldiers. Yeah. Pence went there and sat there and was staring down the North Korean soldiers. And it's like, I feel like they're trying to agitate them. They're trying to push this a little more. They're trying to, cause some sort of retaliation. And I don't understand why they're doing that. I think they should chill. I think maybe they could send North Korea a letter and say, or a statement and say, look, if you guys do this, we're going to do this, so don't do it. You know, but to go there and I'm a Christian, I'm staring at you because I'm badass America. It's like, oh my God, dude, no, you caused an HIV epidemic in your own state because you wanted to get rid of Planned Parenthoods. Two of which didn't even perform abortions. Thanks, buddy.
And I think that honestly, so I mean, here's the concern. The concern is that they're working on creating intercontinental ballistic missiles. So they're working on long-range missiles. And I am concerned about the threshold when North Korea does develop those rockets so that they can reach American soil, because I don't know what happens at that point. But I think that we should back off and put pressure on China. And I don't know what that exactly looks like. And maybe this is Trump's, and I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, even though I probably shouldn't. But I think this is Trump saying, hey, you, Russia and China, if you guys don't step up, we're going to ramp up and eventually. But the thing that bothers me the most about it is that it's like showing a lack of caring for our allies, which are South Korea and Japan. Because if something goes wrong, they're going to get bombed, not us.
They will absolutely get bombed.
Yeah. And I don't see, and I agree, I just don't see any way around it. And so unless Trump is playing three-dimensional chess, which he's not, I don't see how this ends well. Because they're going to do more nuclear tests. Like, there's just no question about that. And they're going to do more rocket tests, and there's no question about that. So either you would have to do the intelligence, which Donald Trump has so far infamously not done. He's cost the lives of American soldiers and American citizens in his strikes so far, and he's also cost the lives of hundreds of citizens
Syrians
in Syria.
Yeah.
So it's important to think about. Like, you need to do some soul searching if you're listening to this, and kind of think about where you stand on the Korean thing, because this could end up putting us at odds with China in a way that there's full-out war. This could cost the lives of millions of South Koreans if a nuclear bomb does happen on Seoul. So, all right, and let's go to the last story, Matt.
My next and last story is coming from Raw Story. A pro-Trump rally in a tiny Minnesota town turned into a revival, with speakers exhorting the crowd to prepare for a possible civil war after rural voters propelled Donald Trump into the White House in 2016. According to the West Central Tribune, approximately 200 people attended a We Have Your Back rally in Wilmore, Minnesota, to show their support for Trump and make plans to support candidates who will back the president. One of the event's organizers, Ron Branster, told the crowd that they need to elect more Republicans to Congress, saying, "Get the Republican Party back on its feet again. We can't let our guard down. We won the battle, but not the war." Local politician State Representative Tim Miller echoed the sentiments, telling the crowd, many huddled in their cars on the brisk day, "We are entering a time of civil war. We must stay engaged," before adding, "Government doesn't create prosperity. The people do. God, in His grace, has given us another chance." According to another organizer, Bob Enos, rural voters put Trump in the White House, and the rest of the country needs to deal with it. 70% of rural America voted for Donald J. Trump. If that isn't a mandate, I don't know what is. He won. Get over it, Enos told the crowd. You know, just like how everybody got over it when Obama won.
Yeah.
You guys remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
I remember. Yeah, I didn't hear one Republican complain throughout that 8 years because they got over it.
Yeah, and they were like, "We need to support our president because that's important."
Yeah, I heard that all the time from Republicans.
From Sean Hannity especially.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So now all you liberal snowflakes need to get over it because we're just following, what the Republicans did.
Yeah, because the Republicans didn't even protest when Obama got elected. There wasn't even one protest.
Yeah, I never saw any protest. And yeah, some of the protests now are turning violent. But what I hate is a lot of Republicans and libertarians are painting this as all liberals are violent and causing all this shit. When really, if you look at all the violent protests, it's maybe 500 people.
Yep.
Maybe 500 in a country of 300 million, and all the fucking retard libertarians and fucking Republicans want to paint it as this picture as all liberals we're all going violent, and it's fucking idiotic. If you think that, you're an idiot.
Well, there's more liberals than Republicans and libertarians and stuff. So if we all were going violent, we would probably have a hold in government right now, like a bigger hold than there is.
And another point out,
because we would violently take it over.
And another point is the whole "get over it, you lost." Actually, Hillary had 3 million more votes. So, I mean, yeah, I know the Electoral College, but I think that's bullshit.
Yeah, I wish people would take things with a grain of salt and step back and ask themselves, are we being fucking hypocrites or not? And close with that. All right, so Joe, happy birthday, boy. Do you want to take us out?
Sure. This is the Recklessly Skeptical podcast. You can find us on Spreaker, Stitcher, and YouTube. Don't forget to go to our Facebook page, The Evil Atheists. Atheists is plural.
Facebook.com/groups/The Evil Atheists. And you can email us at recklesslyskeptical@gmail.com. Oh, yeah, and I wanted to let everybody know we had a comment on our last podcast, and it simply said, "Wow, Utah sucks."
Yeah, they'll probably comment probably the same thing after this podcast.
For sure. All right. But thank you guys for listening, and we hope you have a wonderful week, and we will talk to you guys next week.
See you guys and gals.
Have a wonderful Joe birthday today. Because it's Joe birthday today. Joe birthday today. Joe today. Birthday.